You brought the truck. You paid for it. You have the title in your name, the keys in your pocket, and the payments coming out of your account every single month. And none of that matters. Because somewhere inside that truck, buried inside a module you cannot access, sitting behind a software layer you were never told existed, is a set of permissions that your dealership controls. Not you, them. And if those permissions get pulled, your truck does not work. This is not a theory. This is how modern vehicle architecture is built. And once you understand what is actually happening inside these trucks, you will never look at a new model year the same way again. Let's start with something called the BCM, the Body Control Module. Every modern truck has one. It manages your power windows, your door locks, your ignition system, your lighting, your remote start, your keyless entry, and in many cases, it talks directly to the powertrain control module, which is the brain running your engine. These two modules are communicating constantly, and on newer trucks, they are not just talking to each other, they are talking to a server. Ford's Connected Vehicle Platform, GM's OnStar infrastructure, Ram's Uconnect telematics system. These are not just convenience features, they are two-way communication systems. Your truck is not just receiving data, it is sending it. And in some configurations, it can receive commands. Now here's where it gets real. When a modern truck rolls off the lot, the VIN is registered to a dealership network. The software in your truck is not fully unlocked the moment you sign the paperwork. Certain features, certain calibrations, certain modules are still tied to dealer authorization. Some of those unlocks happen automatically. Some of them require a dealer to push a software update to complete. And some of them, if that authorization gets flagged or interrupted, can put the truck into a degraded state. Mechanics call it limp mode, but limp mode used to mean a sensor failure. Now it can mean a software permission failure. Those are two completely different problems, and only one of them can be fixed with a wrench. GM started rolling out over-the-air update capability across their full-size truck and SUV lineup. Ford followed. Ram followed. What that means is your truck can receive software changes while it sits in your driveway. You do not take it anywhere. You do not approve it. You wake up in the morning and your truck's behavior has been changed by a company that no longer has a financial stake in your satisfaction. They already got paid. You are just living inside their ecosystem now. And the ecosystem has rules. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. When a truck gets flagged for an emissions-related issue, or when a software conflict gets detected during an over-the-air update cycle, the system can restrict engine output. Not immediately, not dramatically, quietly. You might notice it as a torque drop, a hesitation under load, a check engine light that won't clear with your personal code reader because the fault is inside a protected module you don't have access to. You take it to an independent shop. They hook up their scan tool. They can read the code, but they can't clear it. They can't reset the authorization. They tell you to take it to the dealer. The dealer tells you it needs a software reflash. The software reflash costs money. And while you're writing that check, nobody in that building is going to explain to you that this problem was not mechanical. It was administrative. That's the part they don't advertise. The right to repair movement has been fighting this for years, and the automakers have been fighting back just as hard. The argument they use is cybersecurity. They say that opening up the diagnostic and reprogramming systems to independent shops creates a vulnerability that bad actors could exploit. That's a real concern in a narrow technical sense, but it's also an extraordinarily convenient argument for a company that profits every time your truck has to sit in their service bay. Protecting your truck from hackers, protecting their revenue from competition. Two very different goals wearing the same language. The dealers themselves are not always the villain in this story. Many of them are as frustrated as you are. They're also locked into a system where the manufacturer controls the software, controls the parts pricing, controls the training, and controls the authorization codes. A dealer technician in Iowa can't override a software lockout any more than you can. They have to submit a request through the manufacturer's portal, wait for authorization, and then execute the fix. That process takes time. That time costs you money. And the entire chain of dependency was designed intentionally. Not accidentally, intentionally. Now here's what mechanics who have been working on trucks for 30 years will tell you privately. They're not buying new trucks.
They're not buying trucks from the last 15 years if they can avoid it. They're going back. They're looking for 1990s body-on-frame pickups, pre-OBD2, pre-CAN bus, pre-telematics, trucks where the engine management system is simple enough that a competent mechanic can troubleshoot it with a test light and a service manual. Trucks where the fuel system is mechanical enough that you don't need a dealer scan tool to replace a pump. Trucks where nothing in the vehicle is waiting for a software handshake from a server in another state. A 1993 Dodge with the 5.9 Cummins doesn't care about your dealership's authorization portal. It doesn't have one. It doesn't know what one is. You can rebuild that engine on a dirt floor with hand tools, and it will run the same as it did the day it left the factory. It will pull the same load, it will start in the same cold weather, and nobody at a corporate headquarters 3 states away can change that with a software update. That's not nostalgia. That's engineering that respects ownership. The newer the truck, the more layers of control exist between you and the machine you paid for. And every software update, every connected service agreement, every terms and conditions update that you click through without reading is another layer added to that wall. You're not just buying a vehicle anymore. You're entering a long-term licensing agreement with a corporation that has decided your truck's behavior is their intellectual property. Think about what that actually means the next time your truck is sitting in a dealership service lane for a software issue. Think about who really owns that machine. And then ask yourself what you would do if the answer was not you. Drop a comment below. Tell me the oldest truck you own or have owned, and whether you'd ever go back to something that simple. I read every single one. If you want to keep following this and you're tired of being the last one to find out how this industry actually works, hit subscribe. This channel is about ownership, real ownership, the kind they're trying to make illegal.